Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience? Or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
And hello again, dear ones. Reverend Robert with you here. It is a Tuesday morning, the 6th of April. Oh my gosh, 2021. And this is the Growing Edge, episode number 6. Thank you so much for your patience as I took last week off, escaped to the desert, got away with the family. I will say I had my own incredible growing edge last Saturday, and we, as a family, we had a great growing experience. And someday maybe you'll hear that story. Today, what I want to talk about is something a little different. Now, the idea behind this program is an opportunity to be together and to look at in many ways, many of the books, the writings, the practices, the processes, principles, the things that I believe have been incredibly instrumental in serving my personal transformation from where I was almost 20 years ago, where I was I'm just shy of 20 years of discovering this philosophy. Rediscovering for me. And in that time, there's been a lot of different things that have come and gone, and things that have worked, and things I've visited and revisited. And this week, what I want to talk about is a very instrumental book and a very powerful book. It's called The Abundance Book by John Randolph Price. And I'll tell you, when I first walked into the Salt Lake Church of Religious Science, that's what it was called, back in Salt Lake City, there was a piece that was, this book was just always on the bookshelf at the bookstore. And I'll admit it, I didn't think much of it. It's this tiny little book. I mean, how much good can there be in this tiny little package here? But my gosh, it has stayed with me all these years too. And the reason is, if you're not familiar, I'm going to explain a little bit more about all of this as we go. The reason that this has stuck with is not because it's about abundance. Now, that is true. That is the topic of the practice. But what's more important in this book is that there is a practice, that this practice is here. And so if you're not familiar, what this does is it, there's about 30 pages or so, and it's a small book. He explains what's going to happen. He sets out his premise. He shares his resources of how he got to where he is. And then there's a 40-day practice. Now, the 40-day practice is really 10 days repeated by 4. Mm-hmm. So he creates a spiritual practice of 10 statements that he includes, and we're going to talk about those again in just a little bit, but he includes these 10 statements, and then the idea is that every morning you spend time in meditation around each of those statements and journal a bit. And the journaling is an integral part of this. So what happens is in the 40-day challenge, you do each set of 10 4 times. Where's my book? There it is. Right now, let's see, I'm at today was day 259 for me. So a 40-day practice And I'm at day 259. There comes a point when you just decide not to stop. Now, I can go back through journals across the last 20 years and I can point to plenty of places where I went 10 days, 12 days, 30 days. And one of the challenges that he provides in this book is that if you skip a day, if you miss a day, well, then the challenge is to go back to the beginning and start all over again. So if you get to day 34 and you forget to do day 35, and then you got to go back and start all over again. And I'm one of those, I never liked those kinds of things. Like, I miss a day. And I'll be honest, there have been times where I've missed a day and I just pick up. Because for me, the practice is about being in that consciousness through the journaling process and through an intention, through an intentional practice. Now, the fact that the abundance book really works a lot also on our consciousness of prosperity and abundance and financials and all of it. God is not my source. Money is not, well, God is my source. Money is not my supply. This is day 5, by the way. Money is not my supply. No person, place, or condition is my supply. My awareness, understanding, and knowledge of the all-providing activity of the divine mind within me is my supply. My consciousness of this truth is unlimited. Therefore, my supply is unlimited. And every 10 days, I spend 15 minutes with that thought, with that statement. And what I do is I copy it right into the book. That's part of my meditation. I set aside some time and beep, boop. Okay, we write it out. Some are a little longer than others. Some are, and then I just be with what the idea is. And I tell you, the ideas are pretty powerful. These 10 statements, infusing my life with these statements again and again and again. And Laura does this, right? I don't know what day she is on. And she does it. And we share in this. And there will be things in our lives, experiences in our day, where we just look at each other and often don't even have to say it and just be like, money is not our supply. That avenue is not the supply through which our good comes. There are greater avenues through than that. And when things change or things shift or things don't go according to what we thought they were supposed to or how they were going to, these incredibly powerful statements of truth, again, there's 10 of them, these incredibly powerful statements of truth, which also take on the form of affirmation. The very first one, God is lavish, unfailing abundance, the rich, omnipresent substance of the universe. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me. Anybody that's ever studied with me knows how much I love that word as. This all-providing source of infinite prosperity is individualized as me, the reality of me. Each statement creates an atmosphere, an environment, a consciousness of abundance, of prosperity. So you might say, okay, I get you. You know, there's an affirmation here, there's a practice here, there's journaling here, there's a few different things here. Cool. Maybe I might want to try this, but I want to go find it because there's something even more incredible in here. Oh, I passed it already. And I wanted to share it with you because this is like, wow. The real key. Oh, I think it wasn't actually in the plan part. It was before that. I hadn't read this book in forever. And you said, well, wait a minute. You're at day 259. You're right. I'm on day 259. But I have not read this book in forever. The other parts. My books constantly just open to pages 30, 31, and 32 and 33, where the 10 statements are. So in preparation for this, earlier this morning, I went back. I said, well, let's go back and look in through and remember a little bit more about where, this book. And what I love about John Randolph Price is in the early page, he quotes everybody. He gives everybody an possible credit for where he's gotten to. And he does quote some people more specifically: Emmett Fox, Joel Goldsmith, Ernest Holmes, and Charles Fillmore, of course, and Emerson. And he kind of leads us into this. To share the Holmes quote real quick: prosperity is the outpicturing of substance in our affairs. Absolutely. Everything in the universe is for us. Nothing is against us. Life is ever giving of itself. We must we must receive, utilize, and extend the gift. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. Oh, poof! Right, a little smack in the head there in case you need it. Success and prosperity are spiritual attributes belonging to all people, but not necessarily used by all people. There have been times in my life I haven't used them. I haven't used the principles of prosperity and success. This practice reminds me every day of the principles of prosperity and success. So let's turn. This is on page 15. I want to read this out because, to me, wow, this is seminal. The outer world of form and experience is a reflection of your inner world of thoughts and feelings. Pretty basic new thought, right? As above, so below, as within, so without. That is the law. The law. And we talk about the law a lot in this philosophy. Capital L, law. The outer world of form and experience is a reflection of your inner world of thoughts and feelings. This is the law. The greater your awareness of the presence of God within you, the more that presence fills your consciousness. That is the law. Doing my daily practice, the more I fill the greater my awareness that all these pieces, these statements are true, the greater my experience of those are going to be. I'm going to expand my consciousness, have a greater experience. The deeper your understanding of spirit as the source. Okay, now, the deeper your understanding of spirit, God, any name, any word, call it the one, right? The deeper your understanding of spirit as the source, substance, and activity of your supply. So the oneness is the source, the substance, and activity of your supply. The more permanently that truth will be etched in your consciousness. This is law. It is your spiritual consciousness, your knowledge of the presence of God within you as total and complete fulfillment that interprets itself as every form or experience in your world. That is the law. 4 laws. Your outer world of form and experience is a reflection of your inner world of thoughts and beliefs. Your awareness of the presence of God within you fills your consciousness. The more you're aware, the more it fills. The deeper your understanding of spirit as substance, source, substance, and activity as your supply, then the more that will be permanently etched in your consciousness. You'll never go to a thought of lack or limitation. Now, we all do. I still do. I know there are some that don't. I'm still working on, oh, no, that's not the truth. That's not, no. Cast aside that disbelief. Especially when it comes to the consciousness, to expanding my consciousness. This is not about dealing with or processing our experiences of life. This is the consciousness. It is your spiritual consciousness, your knowledge of the presence of God within you as total and complete fulfillment that interprets itself as every form and experience. So part 2, he lays it out. So here it is. Here are 10 statements that will help, I believe, anyone. They've helped me, served me incredibly over the years. And as I said, I do this process and it'll drop off, and then it'll, for whatever reason, and you can tell, day 256, not quite a year ago. Now, so a year ago, I wasn't doing this practice. As we moved into the pandemic, this wasn't part of my daily practice, but the book was always on the shelf. I pulled the book down off the shelf and I started to practice again. Practice again. Practice again. Here we are, a year into a pandemic. I've been doing all of this work, but there's really no financial income from this avenue at this point. That's okay. This is not my source. This is the work that I'm doing, the love that I'm doing, knowing that the day comes when the source flows through this avenue. But for right now, we're still building the avenue. We're still building we're digging the canal. We're setting the course so that prosperity and abundance and absolute flow through this ministry and source this ministry. And in many ways, it does source this ministry. While it doesn't source my life directly financially in the moment, that's okay. That's not where it's not necessary for this one avenue to be what keeps food on the table and the rent paid and keeping all the money flowing. The money keeps flowing. Part of it is that daily reminder, however, my inner supply. Here's another one. Let's do day 6. My inner supply instantly and constantly takes on form and experience according to my needs and desires. My inner supply instantly and constantly takes on form and experience according to my needs and desires. That's not it, comma. And as the principle of supply in action, it is impossible for me to have any needs or unfulfilled desires. Pretty cool, right? Reminding myself daily that if I look at something, oh, I need that. Oh, I just got to open up to the fact that if that is necessary for the evolution of this process of what I'm doing in my life, of who I'm becoming and what we're creating here, then so be it. Then it happens. And if that's more money, then that's more money. If that's some sort of support in paying the rent or whatever it might be, so be it. Ultimately, what I love about this is, well, let's come right to day 10. I keep my mind and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on God within as the only cause of my prosperity. So we're just talking about prosperity, right? We're not talking about all the other stuff. We're not saying that we go out and ignore what's going on in social justice and in equality, equity work, and in all the work that's necessary to be done to create a world that works for everyone, to serve this world that works for everyone, just in the realm of our own prosperity. And in that prosperity, that is consciousness. So just in the world of our own prosperity, I keep my minds and thoughts off this world, and I place my entire focus on God within as the only cause of my prosperity. I acknowledge the inner presence as the only activity in my financial affairs, as the substance of all things visible. I place my faith in the principle of abundance in action within me. Again, this is only in this one aspect of our lives. It's not we're not saying turn away from the world and go be a hermit and go sit and meditate for 12 hours a day. You can do that if you want, but that's not what we're saying in here. And the truth is, I have yet to meet anyone that was able to demonstrate a gold brick dropping into their hand in the midst of a meditation. We do not keep our hands open so that gold, bricks, and money and stuff falls into our hands. That's not how it works. So the growing edge for me becomes that place of saying, okay, how do I rest? How do I meditate? How do I bring to my world a deep, deep sense of assurance that all of this is happening? That this, because we've been taught from the very beginning, right? It takes a lot of conditioning. It takes a lot of reconditioning. It takes a lot of reprogramming to get away from those old beliefs that I got to go out and seek money and constantly be striving to bring in a greater income. And to earlier today, I was listening to a song by Eddie Watkins Jr. and I had the radio station on as I was doing some stuff. And New Thought Radio, folks, ntmedia.org. Check out New Thought Radio. It's a great way to have positive music floating in your consciousness all day long. And Eddie Watkins, the Eddie Watkins Jr. song was on. All my needs are met. All my needs are met. All my needs are met. I'm not going to keep saying it. You can go listen to Eddie sing that. That song is on, and I'm like, yeah. And the fact that I know that means that I don't really have any, I don't dwell in the world of need. Yeah, there's, hey, this would be nice. Hey, is it, there are things, sure. Would it be wise to, you have to do the discernment piece. Would it be wise to invest in this or spend money on this? Just because I have, my own desire, candy, Swedish fish. Send in the Swedish fish, folks. Right. I can't keep my finger, but anyway, I digress. Excuse me. If everything that is necessary for the evolution of human consciousness expresses itself as it's necessary, then that's happening in my life as well. And that's a huge part of what I've learned from the Abundance book. And I believe you would as well. When I am aware of the God self within me as my total fulfillment, I am totally fulfilled. I am now aware of this truth. I have found the secret of life, and I relax in the knowledge that the activity of divine abundance is eternally operating in my life. I simply have to be aware of the flow, the radiation of that creative energy, which is continuously, easily, and effortlessly pouring forth from my divine consciousness. I am now aware, and I am now in the flow. And so the things that are necessary show up in my life. Bills get paid. Things get taken care of. And we're not living an extravagant life. We're not, running around the country on private jets. And there's no need for that. If there were a need for that, I believe it would show up. And I'd have no problem climbing on a private jet if that were what was necessary to move this physical body one place or another in a short amount of time, and to transcend the schedules of commercial travel and all that, and yada 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 and all that. But it's not like it's something I'm trying to get. It's not a demonstration of prosperity. That is not a demonstration of success. That is not a demonstration of, in my opinion, true spiritual abundance. To me, that's oftentimes an excess, an unnecessary excess of ego, exclusivity, and just greed. None of which are, to me, spiritual principles. So I don't spend much time trying to figure those things out. Right? I'm not going to make anybody wrong for having a private jet. I'm not sure how we got on this topic. It's not about making anybody wrong for having one or having access to one or using one. Or what's most necessary to serve the evolution of human consciousness? Because I think that's a bigger deal than serving my own bank account. And I think that's a bigger deal than serving than just in that place of get. More. And I am open to learn how to manage large amounts of money, open to learning how to manage large amounts of fundraising activities. I'm open to whatever it is that shows up in front of me. Right now, it's New Thought Media Network. And right now, New Thought Media Network is the most amazing thing in the world. I have so much fun every day. And yeah, there are some days where it feels like, man, okay, when are we going to break this barrier? Must be my consciousness, and what's going on, and and then I pick up the book, or I turn back in my journal and I look back and I find day 219. Hey, we're reading day 9 a lot today, right? So here's my journaling from day 219. So this would be what I just say, 59. So this is 40 days ago. I am now aware I am easily and effortlessly pouring forth from the divine consciousness. I am now aware I am now in the flow, and I let my good flow in creative and inspiring ways. I am here and I am ready for the next thing to do. From the doing, I am demonstrating the power of co-creative nature of God's life as my life. All is well in my world and I am joyously abundant. So you got an affirmation, you got an inspiration, you got an activity, you got a reminder, a bit of spiritual practice. You know, that book and that journal sit right next to leaning up against my primary journal, my daily primary journal. I got a whole bookcase of journals over here, by the way. Oh, and a prayer book over there. I want to say thank you to those that are watching this, whether you're here live or at another time, watching a rebroadcast. I trust that you find something in these experiences. Tuesdays at 10 Mountain, half an hour. I share what's going on and what I'm working with, and we're in this early stages of a bit of that and a bit of the foundational stuff. Because if we don't know where we've come from, we're never really going to know when we arrive at something different, when we reach the destination. Now, I've long been a proponent of the old phrase that the journey is the destination. And that's what we're doing. We're documenting the journey. Every Tuesday here at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. In case you're wondering, I got shot in the arm yesterday with one of those needles. Ooh, it didn't hurt yesterday. It hurts today, though. Oh, and I've been sleeping like a bear in the middle of the winter. Heavy and hot and just... So, if things are a little off in the world today, or in the schedule around the network, thank you for your patience. I'm going to get out of here. We'll be back here again, New Thought Media Network, Tuesdays, noon. Our next program is up at noon today. It is Treasures from the Tao with Reverend Jody. I'm trying to find the flyer for that, and I'm not finding it. So there it is. Join us today at noon for Treasures from the Tao with Reverend Jody Hill Stevenson, a 15-minute look at Tao principles and how we can activate the Tao in our lives. And then later today, my dear brother and I, Reverend Elzia, we do New Thought today at 2 Mountain Time. Please join us for that as well. We're looking at a religious science perspective as we explore an integral approach to the evolution of New Thought philosophy. It's called New Thought Today. looking at the future of New Thought. I trust and I hope you'll join us. Love to see you there. Or again, catch any of our programming on the replays available in our archives on YouTube and Facebook. And hit subscribe while you're over there if you would. I'm getting out of here. I love you. I think you're amazing. And I look forward to being with you again soon. Until then, peace and blessing. Bye now.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.